Those levels completed just as I got on. I just did my morning breakdown. I was hoping that they would give us that on the open, but I don't know what news we just had at 9 o'clock. I was expecting that to maybe complete at about 10, but we've just traded it. So yeah, that's I say slightly annoying, but it is what it is. I was going to break that down this morning, but it looks like that's already gone without us. So I will just bear with me. Just try to see if this works. Okay, I'll do that after. Right. Yeah, this was the extension I had from the overnight session. As soon as we got into that true trend, you can see on the daily we are stuck inside our high to high support from pretty much the 10th of October when we had that huge down day. Reason being is we have a 50 to 50, which was from the 4th of August to the high, traded the halfway back, went to the 23, which is this blue line here. Okay, and also the high to high from what was the 20th of May, traded on the 1st of August. That negative 100 in red is here. And we spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days at that level. And you can see since then we've traded that 50 to 50. There was also a halfway back in here. 1, 2, 3 touches. And again, that's also gone all the way to completions at that negative 100. So you can see we have multiple, right? This is the negative 100 from this extension. This negative 100 is all the way from here. Huge, huge draw. And the high to high from the current one we're in is pretty much still in play. And that is where we've come down to the 50 once, twice, and we're bouncing off the 38. Those completions take you to 26,637, which is we're in line with the weekly ATR of 824s. The reason I show that is because this level here, this box, this yellow box, is my discount for the day, which has now changed because we just had a huge pump. So it was going to be round here where the dynamic trend line was, but now we've just rallied. We have gone to those completions. So the reason for the current same anchor new high is because if you come down to here, this box was my support from drawing the same anchor, the high to high 38 in here. So if I just put this on both screens, you can see that should plot. There we go. So you can see we came down to the 38 on Friday, and insane, man. Look at that. That's the 50 of the high to high. Look here. This level here, that is the 50. Ridiculous. Huge rally. That was also the ETH low on Friday as well. I don't know what. Oh, that's not showing because I'm on a 5-minute. Look how wild that is. Have I got... because I've got 2 days only. So let's do 5. Look how wild this is. Jeez, guys. Jeez. So that was the RTH average true range low. That coincidentally lined up with the 50 high to high, which is here. Look at the left screen. So if I draw a box here, and just put this in blue, and delete this one for a second, and put this on both screens, look how insanely accurate that is. The 50. So that's the daily high to high 50, and once price came down to it, that is when we traded the RTH average true range low. I mean, it's the same level. Like, that's just double confirmation. That's just insane. 3 times the ATR out, and obviously we had a traditional in there that went to completion. So that's why I'm using that as my low. And you can see we had a retest of that again on Friday. Sorry, that was Thursday. We had a retest of that on the ETH. Look at that. I need you to appreciate this. Look at this. Look how crazy that is. Can you see that? X marks the spot for the ETH low of day. This is the predicted. This is what it looks like. This was the low of day because it literally was the low of day, but this was predicting that at 6 p.m. open. I mean, how wild is that? It's the exact. That's the exact low. 888.75. I mean, ridiculous. You guys who've got the indicators know how powerful that is. And how powerful was it? We had a huge, 230 point rally. Came into where? The 4-hour high. And then sold off 150 points into the close. I mean, incredible. Incredible. And again, the reason I'm using this as my anchor point is because this has already traded. So there was a halfway back in here. Again, went 2 targets. The high to high in also went 2 targets, which you saw on Friday. This here traded a 61. I drew from that. On the overnight session, we traded a 61, just went to the 23, went to the 62. I then drew the 50 from that anchor. And that's why this here is my reference point, because you'll see, or you'll notice on a 2-minute time frame, it's hard to see on a 5. On a 2-minute time frame, we do what? We trade a sloppy. I don't class this as valid, but what we do is end up trading a more of a cleaner draw. And that went 2 targets to hit the 23. Then what do we do? Same anchor new high, trades the 38 and 0 drawdown all the way to the negative 100. True trend starts. And then what do we do? Same anchor new high, trades the 38, and we've just completed that 23 and the 62. I would have taken that trade. I've literally just got to my computer screen. So I wasn't here at 10:08. If I was, I mean, we had a triangle momentum down and the true trend didn't start. But once you got above, this is when you could have easily taken, full completions here. I don't think this was deep enough for a same anchor new high. It wasn't. So all I would have done in that area is just drew a 60. And did we get a fit? Yes, tricky. You didn't get a retracement. So I probably wouldn't have taken anything. I think the only thing you would have been able to do is bid the 38 or look for the high to high, which did trade again, freaking aggressive. And then in here there is a same anchor new high that is currently in play. But I mean, this is like so far out of discount now. I will probably just look for the same anchor new high and just hope that we're still in some sort of trend at that point. But right now that lines up with previous day high. But my discount for the day, or my trend line support, was going to be right like overnight mid, 4-hour low, ETH low. So really we would need to break that and probably come down into a full traditional, which even at that point, it's still, we've still got potential room to come down. So it's just annoying that we've just completed that on the overnight. If we hadn't have completed that so soon, it would be a completely different story, because we would have had more magnitude to complete. But right now, if we just put that back on here, yeah, I mean, that's so annoying. It's great if you longed it, but this was the trade, right? What is that? 125 points. So annoying. But let me just zoom out quickly whilst we're all on, because that was going to be my trade. That's what I was going to look for. We've had the double bottom 50 here. Both days we traded RTH, then RTH low, as well as the ETH. So it's like so annoying. We kind of just missed that on the overnight session. But I will probably look for what would be Friday's low. And maybe, I guess it's previous day midpoint, right? Previous day mid lines up with the overnight expansion bar here, which is 26,100. So what does that line up with? Overnight mid, which makes sense, of course, right? Yeah, that makes sense. I might even just go full 50 to 50 on here. The reason being is my initial support on the day when we traded down here was the ETH dynamic trend lines. But because we've gone up now, these have all been skewed. So I'm in a bit of a different situation than I was 20 minutes ago, because obviously the price has gone up. So I think my smart buy zone is probably, if we're gonna trade the long side, it's probably gonna have to be 2362. It's probably gonna have to be a same anchor new high, which is ETH dynamic trend lines, 4-hour low, And then you got RTH mid as potential support. I don't necessarily love it. I'm annoyed that we just missed a trade that was better. We just take a quick zoom out on the daily again. Because I'm just aware that we've completed so many draws and I don't want to get caught up in a potential. So we're at that negative 100 from down here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. We are getting back above. I mean, first rejection was on Tuesday, 1, 2, 3 days. We're still at that level. So I'm going to kind of class this as a potential still look above and go higher. And if we are going to do that, then this high to high is what's currently in play. So I'm just going to have to follow the extensions until they become irrelevant. So for now, 38, 38. And then you've got this same anchor new high in here. 61, 261. Negative 100 lines up with the completions. I mean, the targets, the upside makes sense. It's just trying to find an entry that makes sense. That is the only thing that's difficult right now. It'll be a little bit easier when we open because we'll have an RTH dynamic trend line as well to go off. But I imagine that's probably going to line up with about the overnight mid. So it could be a fairly simple day. It's just I don't know if we're going to get it, but if we do, I think it's going to be probably that same anchor new high from the overnight. A really simple, easy, boring trade. Doesn't have to trade, but I think if it does, that's maybe the only one we get. We did print a 3.5 times ATR at 8:30. 9 o'clock. Typically, those are good for staying in trend. So if we aren't going to retrace at all, i.e. come back down to smart buy zone, then unfortunately it's going to have to be a case of being aggressive, which is meaning this high to high here. But so far we've had no triangle momentums or diamonds to support that. So I won't take that unless we get some confirmation. So yeah, it's probably going to be more clearer on the open. I feel like it's a little bit harder to read right now. So I'll just draw the same anchor new high for now, just because we've not had any. The only symbol that we've had is a bearish signal, and obviously half an hour above it, so it kind of becomes irrelevant. So at that point, I'd rather wait for some momentum signal, which will be either a diamond or a triangle momentum. Other than that, hopefully we get a bit of a pullback, and I will mark out. My smart buy zone. I'm a little bit less inclined to draw this for some reason. I'd almost want us to actually be higher, like here. So then we've got the previous day high on our side, as opposed to if I draw it from here. I mean, it's okay, but you're just very close to Friday's mid, which I don't necessarily like. But I'm going to draw it here just for now. I mean, I draw these zones, and they often work really, really well. But then I end up kind of expecting them to always work, when obviously that's not the case. But I kind of just put them here for my own reference. But typically they work really, really well. So we will see what we get here. Again, this is not meaning you just blindly go long smart buy zone. It just means let's see what price does at this area. If we can't hold it, then expect the exact same expectations in the opposite direction. So if you're expecting it to hold, it doesn't. If you're expecting it to hold by 100 points and it doesn't, they'll expect 100 points to the downside. Any questions this morning? Let me know. Obviously, we released the indicators on Friday. They have gone really, really well. Just whilst I'm on the topic of updates, Take Profit approved the 4,000 payout net last week, and then the 5.1, which is from Thursday net, has just been approved. I've submitted that to Wise, and Friday's profit of whatever that was, 13,000, I can't even remember, 15,000, I don't know what that was, that has been requested. I think it's 2,750 per account. That's been submitted, and then whatever that is net will come into here and I'll request that out hopefully today. So call it by tomorrow. I imagine I should have all of last week's profit, which I think I worked out is £15,000 net, which sounds like a lot, but considering I made 32,000 last week, dollars, 7.5 I can't take out because that's the drawdown, which goes down to 27. 20% off that takes it down to like 22, and then or 20, and then 20 into dollars to pounds takes it down to about 15,000. So it soon gets diminished a little bit. But anyway, everyone on YouTube, you can click the link below for a 7-day free trial. It isn't something that we're gonna have on for a while, so please make sure to make use of it, because again, it won't be something that we have on all the time. And other than that, guys, I will see you all over on